We both really are fond of corniness and everything that's corny. Corniness to me is the love of very ordinary and simple things that are somehow very modest, but also have a lot to teach us.
Yeah, wait, how do you get it? Heart, there we go, heart.
Corny.
Yeah.
We've been collaborating really actively for about a year and a half. The most recent collaboration we did is called Corn Study. We looked at different crops and we decided we were really interested in corn. And we learned also that in research that corn is one of the most frequently studied of all the plants on Earth.
That it is the first genetically modified crop, ironically owned by the DuPont family.
But then we decided we weren't going to manipulate it and we weren't going to study it, we were going to teach it. We were going to teach it about humans. So we turned it into a corn school where the corn seeds themselves get these audio tracks that are all about human history. And then the second thing we did was we got books and fans, and we had the bands blowing the knowledge through the books onto the corn seeds, because we realized that we'd really played with the corn a lot and messed up the corn. We wanted the corn to become conscious and kind of regain control over its world. We took our neighborhood, Silver Lake, and we made a map of all what we call public fruit, which is people's fruit trees that overhang public property, and we learned that legally that those are actually whoever it didn't belong to anyone, it belonged to the public in a way. So we made a map of all the public fruit, and then we connected it to a manifesto where we encourage everyone to plant public fruit, including the city, so that everybody could get free food and everything they needed just because it's there. Especially when we're working together, we're interested in the ordinary world and in the kind of the little areas of the ordinary world that actually quite extraordinary and somehow overlooked or hidden or subliminal.
The lab series we did at Machine Gallery, which is where we're at right now, and we created 3 labs, and they were based on 3 very basic principles. One was on pleasure, principles of pleasure, which was disguise, delirium, and delicious. So it's these very common things that give people personal pleasure. And so we chose ice cream as a topic, smoke bombs are things that incinerate, and hallucinogenic drugs.
It began when I found a recipe for making ice cream in plastic bags, where you take the ice cream ingredients, the milk and the sugar and the cream, and you put them in a plastic bag, and then you put them inside a second plastic bag with just ice cubes and salt, and you like jump it around, and eventually the inner bag freezes and you have ice cream. And then we found the other 2 labs, which is the second one is smoke bombs, which we're going to do. It's like using sugar and saltpeter to make homemade smoke bombs. And the third one
is extracting recreational drugs out of cough syrup, because in the 1970s they used to use codeine, which is really addictive, and then they actually switched the product to dextromethorphan, which is a better recreational drug than codeine.
We really got interested in the DXM because it's really like right on the edge of legality, and we like that kind of play with especially now after 9/11, where everything is kind of being restricted and everything is, chemical substances are being controlled. The ingredients, in fact, for the smoke bombs are controlled.
Okay, so we have 3 cups, more or less, of saltpeter
and 2 cups of sugar.
But the thing that's so crazy about saltpeter is that you used to be able to buy it at the corner drugstore. It was a staple item in America up until our generation, the past 20 or 30 years. And now it's literally not available. You cannot get it anywhere. So this became very appealing, of course. This thing that's A, not illegal, B, you can't have it. Okay, there's 1 smoke bomb, which is exactly what Matias and I have collaborated with, are these projects and these ideas that flirt within the lines of legal and not legal, within public, within private, within what is a sort of an activism and what is a self-motivated interest.
Or stuff that's sort of social commentary, because it really works on the line of what's legally allowable and what's morally acceptable. If you don't eat breakfast, and then you forget to eat lunch and you're starving, or you eat the meat even though you know it's bad and then you get sick.
Fine, I'll be fine. I'm not gonna get sick.
Here, I'm just gonna chew the salmon up with a little bit of mashed potato. Yeah, it's good. Patriotic is a piece that is about food and intimacy and relationships.
It's also like very seriously this question about how we take care of each other, and when do we decide that someone is privileged and when do we decide that someone is truly subordinate.
We did it at the Hollywood Bowl, and in the background, the Hollywood Bowl Orchestra started playing the Star Spangled Banner. I kept chewing the food and feeding it to David until the end of the Star Spangled Banner, which is why the piece ended up being called Patriotic, because somehow we realized that it called all these questions about the relationship between a country, which is like a family, and the individual. My work on my own is pretty conceptual or intellectual, or it's humorous sometimes, but I would never say it was kind of sexual or adolescent in the same way that David's own work is focused on.
The sincere passion to be an authentic self, I guess, is really what drives me to make videos and photos.
So I was talking to someone recently, and we were discussing that I spend so much energy looking outside myself for the truth. And so I thought about doing this image where I start looking for the truth inside myself.
The work I'm motivated to produce as an artist is really coming from that awkwardness of adolescence when you're trying to figure out who you are in this world.
We thought you were going to put it all on at once
And then do it,
let it harden and then pull it off.
No, we have to do it by parts,
There's a really awkward passion when you leave your youth and you are given a responsibility of identity, and you must express it with honesty and conviction at the best you can.